Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Parenting and You with me, Dr. Shefali. You know, as mothers especially, we carry such a heavy burden of wanting to do it right. I think most of us mothers carry this tremendous sense of over responsibility, this over care and concern, wondering, am I doing enough? Am I doing it right? And some of us go overboard and overdo it. And some of us get paralyzed in our perfectionism or in our desire to get every decision just right. But here's the thing. We all know that parenting is so messy. It's so chaotic. There's so many wild curves. You have a mother-in-law. You have an ex. You have a school teacher, perhaps, or a bully at school. And all these variables make it so difficult. And then we take it upon ourselves as if we're the ones who have to make everything right for our children. And when we take on this over responsibility, we actually dim our light, and we actually take away from our power, and we actually act in more unconscious ways. So we're going to get into this really deep in this episode. Coming up next, a mother who is struggling to discipline her baby boy, and she's worried that she may be spoiling him and indulging him too much. Joining me now is Kavita. She says she has a really difficult time disciplining her toddler, and she thinks it's because she and her husband are just such over-giving, over-caring, overdoing parents. Hi, Kavita. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Shefali. I'm so excited to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. So tell us, what are you going through?
So, Dr. Shefali, I and my husband have this beautiful, handsome baby boy who's the beat of our hearts, the apple of our eyes, and the oxygen in our lungs, and everything in between. So, I and my husband lived very parallel lives before we had our child. Both of us spent our 20s and 30s chasing our lofty career ambitious goals and gained our degrees, completed our education, and reached the peaks of our career before we thought that we reached a point now to introduce a new life. And so we were well in our 40s when we had our first child and became first time parents. So, needless to say, we were overjoyed, excited, hopelessly in love with this beautiful face that we saw. And so we reached a point where we feel that we couldn't have been more ready to have this child in our life. And we overgive our love to him. We keep pouring our love on him. And just to kind of give you a few examples, it's hard for us to discipline our child. A lot of people talk about sleep training, but we co sleep with our child. He sleeps with us in our bed. And even before he reaches an object of his desire, we already know what he wants. So we are more than excited to hand it over to him, before he can verbalize what he needs. So, and we catch ourselves doing that. And we're like, we've been so excited with the entry of this human being in our life that I think both of us are kind of overgiving and over loving this child. And is that the right way to parent a child? There are some good parts. The good part is that I and my husband have a very similar parenting style. And we both are over caring, over nurturing, over givers, because that's how we were raised culturally. And we catch ourselves repeating the same thing with our toddler and wonder, are we doing the right thing for him? So that's just like, the basis of my call to you today.
Well, first, thank you. Thank you for being so honest. Thank you for being so vulnerable to share what could be, a beautiful thing, but also it could be something that you're doing wrong. So let's talk about it. So first, you can never overlove a child. So that is not the problem here. What the problem is that both of you are so excited that it's almost like you have this, beautiful statue in your museum, and now you're taking care of the statue. And you'll look at it every day, and you'll admire it, and you'll take care of it and polish it. But I think what you're not realizing is that you're not raising a statue. You're not raising this thing. You're raising a human being which needs to develop on its own. And by over giving or over preempting every move, over, caring for every need. You're actually treating it like a statue, treating it like a puppet, treating it like a thing. And you're taking away from your child its capacity to develop into its own autonomy. You're crippling it. Because it's like this cute little doll, and you want this doll to be happy all the time. And it's not a doll, it's not a perfect object. It is a being that needs to figure out life a little bit on its own. So when you give the child his milk cup before the child even asks for it, now you've actually stunted that child's ability to know what it wants, to ask for its needs. It's exactly like what the fear about Chat GPT is today, right? What is our fear about Chat GPT or open AI or AI in general? Is that it's going to take over our brains and we're not going to have a brain left, because why would we need to think? We just put it into AI and AI gives us all the research. AI gives us all the answers. You're seeing that in your own work, I'm sure. People are using AI all the time.
Yeah.
So this is what you are doing to your child. You're robbing your child. You are the AI. And you're like, I know what my child needs even before my child knows what it needs. And you are actually robbing your child of your child's brain capacity to grow, to figure it out, to ask for what it needs. Because you're like older parents and you're like so excited, you are like machine parents. You're like too much. You're going to rob your child of your child's capacity to develop its own voice and its own needs and figure his own life out. Your child is going to actually become a complete puddle of nothing, of doing nothing, because you're going to make it into that object, because you're treating it like an object, not like a thinking, feeling, fully capable human being.
I think you're absolutely right on point, Dr. Shefali. And that's exactly was my concern too. That because we are overdoing it, and preempting his every move and his every need, we may be stunting his complete development because a little bit of challenge is required.
And here's a deeper thing that you're doing, which is going to be a little bit provocative. So, okay, so I don't mean to judge, but I want you to hear what I'm saying. Our goal as parents, our sacred goal, is to follow the child's lead in many ways. Not that we let the child dictate, but we listen to what the child needs. So if the child doesn't ask for mommy, mommy really doesn't need to go. If the child is not saying, I want milk, you don't need to give the milk. You have to wait for the child to kind of figure out what it needs, and then you can be responsive, right? That's called responsive parenting or attuned parenting. But what you both are doing is y'all are the stars of the show. And it is just your puppet. You're like, here, take the milk. Here, let's do this. Here, let's do that. Y'all are like completely overwhelming him with your own. Y'all are so excited
Yes.
that y'all are muting him and his energy. Actually, you're actually not being caring,
Caring by overdoing that.
because you're caring about yourself. You're like, I want to play with my child. I want to sleep with my child. Maybe your child can sleep on its own and feel good about it. Did you even think about it? I'm not saying you have to do it, but maybe your child needs to want to figure out his own life a little bit.
Yeah.
And by you giving all the objects and you saying, here, 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 oh my goodness, you're actually dulling him into a statue, into a puppet.
That's very true, Dr. Shefali. I think I did have a hunch that there is something which is off. And, I thought that the discipline part will be handed over and taken care of by the masculine in the household, which is my husband. And he's generally a very temperate, a very level-minded person. But when it comes to loving his child, he is also a big puddle of mush. And so there is no word called discipline in our household because we are just loving him too much. And I also want to add that a bit of our parenting style is also reinforced by what we hear and see these days. So I see a lot of your work and I see a lot of work by Dr. Erika Komisar and Dr. Gabor Mate, who talks about the perils of sleep training your child prematurely and sending your child off to institutional daycare before their nervous systems are ready for it. So my scientific mind reads that and analyzes it in my own way as okay. So over loving is okay. Just loving your child is okay. If your child wants to sleep with you, co sleeping with your child is okay. Not sending him to daycare is okay. Overprotecting him is okay.
Okay, so you're right. All that is okay. What's not okay is not listening to your child, is not being attuned to what your child is saying. Is your child saying, Mommy, I want milk? Is your child saying, Mommy, I want to be with you? Or are you preempting that need because you need to be needed? You are so excited to give everything.
Yeah.
You are so excited to entertain, to be the best and the mostest. I think you're getting a little confused between saying no to your child and disciplining your child. I don't think you need to discipline your child in the traditional way at all. But that also does not mean you can't say no to your child, especially if he's a toddler now.
Yeah.
You can say, No, I will give you the ice cream later. Or no, we're going to go to the park later. That is a good skill for your child to wait, to realize that he can wait. He'll be okay. No, it's not your turn right now. Now it's daddy's turn. These are good things, but this doesn't mean you're disciplining him or punishing him. It just means you're teaching him that he is as important as you are important, as everyone else is important. And I think in your eagerness to make sure that he has no pain, you are actually protecting him to the point of stunting his resilience.
Right.
I think you're doing amazing. You've just gone overboard.
Yes.
So you need to temper back.
Hmm.
And you're yet so excited by this statue in your museum that you're going to make him feel this sense of omnipotence, that he just thinks it and it shows up. That is very dangerous. You're going to make him feel as if he is the apple of everybody's eye and should be the beat of everybody's heart. And that is not the case. So you're over grandiosifying him, if that's a word.
Yes.
And you'll need to kind of just tone it down a little bit.
So then, Dr. Shefali, what is discipline? What does that look like? And saying no, I think maybe, is a part of discipline. But the fact is that when we say no to him and he's adamant on something, he will scream a little bit and then we will give it right back to him.
Yes, yes. So,
So what should that look like in a real practical sense?
yeah, I love that question. So, toddlers and children will scream and throw tantrums. That is their own inability to handle their emotions. When they scream, the two of you interpret that as we are bad parents. We are traumatizing our child.
Yes.
And I'm here to tell you that that screaming or tantruming is his asking you to help him regulate, not to give in to him. So when you say no TV right now and he screams, you think, oh my goodness, I'm traumatizing my child. Let me give him the TV. But you need to reframe that to he's actually saying, Mommy, help me deal with the disappointment. Help me handle my emotions. So what does it look like? Oh, what is your son's name, for example?
Raibir Singh. Raibir is his first name.
Okay. Okay, Raibir. It's okay. It's okay. You're angry that you don't get the TV. It's okay. You will get the TV later, after we go to sleep or after we go out. I know you're upset. And then just co regulating him with your own energy.
Yeah.
And teaching him that he can cry and he will not break. But what you're doing is you look at the crying as if he's going to break. So you give him the drug. And that teaches him that he needs the drug, otherwise he will break.
Wow.
You see?
Yeah, that's impactful. Wow.
I'm so glad that you've come here to ask these questions. And before our episode began, I was telling you about my conscious community, which I think you should join and all parents should join, because there I have a special group for parents of toddlers and parents of preteens and parents of teenagers. And we deal with these issues. So I think you, as a new mother, need the support of other parents. And I teach you skills like I just taught you in this community. So, what is your biggest takeaway from what you've heard right now?
I think my biggest takeaway is that too much love is good, but too much love, which takes away the autonomy of a child and stunts his personality in a way, is not good.
Very good.
And I had a hunch that that's where we are headed. He's not an infant anymore. And so the tender days of, needing a milk every 2 hours is gone. He's a toddler. He's going on to have his own personality. So over loving and overdoing actually may be causing a bit of a harm to him right now. And we see that because when we hand over the thing to him, even before he speaks it, we hand over the thing to him. So we may be actually even stunting his speech development. And so that kind of caused me to get a little worried. And I thought that I need to talk to a professional, and who better than Dr. Shefali?
Oh, awesome. And one last thing also, when you are at work and you have a problem, and if you had a robot on the side of you who just solved the problem, what do you think that does to you? It makes you stop being creative, stop taking risks, stop figuring it out, stop dealing with the discomfort of figuring something out. That's what you're doing. You're acting like robots around him, and you will make him a robot who has no awareness of how he can function without a machine and without his parents constantly with him. You're taking away his own power.
Right. I'm so glad I am talking to you, Dr. Shefali. I'm so glad about it. One more question that kind of keeps coming in the circles and in our household is the daycare.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think given that y'all are over parents, by the age of 3, at least, he should be going to daycare and having real life experiences where he will face disappointment and have to deal with other children and not be the apple of his parents' eye. I think for this kind of child, you are going to overdo it so much that you will create an unrealistic idea of the world in his consciousness, and he needs to go out there and deal with real life a little bit, and he will be great. You have done a good job. You have created a fantastic foundation. You're just now going too far.
Yes. So we need to withdraw ourselves back.
A little bit. You need to wait for him a little bit.
Yes.
You need to let him be in charge of asking, of looking, of finding solutions to his own problems.
Yes.
So it's not about withdrawing love. It's about giving him more respect.
Yes.
To have his own initiative. Actually, you're disrespecting him.
Yes. Yes, you're right. And being okay with the discomfort that may be causing temporarily to him because it's good for him in the long run.
Yes, and you can look at your own life. Hasn't it been good for you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you need to teach him that regulation by you being calm and allowing him to have a tantrum. It's okay. But if you're getting all nervous, then you're going to give him a drug and you're going to create a drug dependency.
Sure. Wow. Never knew too much loving could be bad.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Kavita. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Dr. Shefali.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh my goodness, I could so relate to Kavita's story because so many times in my own mothering, I thought I was doing a great thing by giving in to my daughter's every desire and preempting her every need. I mean, after all, I was going to be even more emotionally attuned than I needed to be. And I thought that was what being a good mother was all about. It was only later as I began to discover that I was coming from my own woundedness, my own need to fix, my need to be significant, my need to be worthy, my need to be perfect. That was what was driving my mothering. And in that desire to be so amazing, I was actually robbing my child from discovering how amazing she inherently was. And this is a mistake many of us overly empathic, overly loving mothers especially fall into. We, in our overgiving, actually rob our children of their autonomy and of their inner resilience. So it's not about loving our children less. It's about realizing that we're coming from a place of woundedness, a place of neediness. And in that, we create a lack of resilience in our children. So love your children, but just be aware of the need and the fear and the anxiety that is underneath that desire to love your children. Coming up next is a mother who is struggling to raise her 5-year-old son while co-parenting in a difficult situation with her ex. We're now going to meet with Alona. She's the mother of a 5-year-old son, and she's struggling to co-parent with her ex. She wants to know how she can be the best parent to her son. Hi, Alona. Welcome. I'm so happy you're here with us. Tell us what you're going through.
Hello, Dr. Shefali. Thank you for having me on. Yes, I'm a mom of a beautiful 5-year-old boy. He has big personality. He's very energized, very curious, and loves to be learning all different things. I have split up with his parents for over 3 years, so he doesn't quite remember us being together. So we have been doing a co-parenting, as I would refer better, parallel parenting for 3 years now. I have a difficult time with navigating with my son when he comes back from the time exchange from his father. So his mood is into attack mode. Mom seems to be not really a safe place of how he feels and how I feel, that he's just in an internal struggle trying to figure out what I know about my mom is she's a certain way. She's lying. She's doing things that are not good for me. And so he comes to my home and he's have immediately tried to resist with any directions that I give, any lovings that I offer. So I want to better understand, given this situation, and I can't manage what's been told to him at his father's house. What I can manage is what I can do to stop him feeling the resistance, and really trying to navigate him of what can I do as the mother for him to feel less and less that turmoil that goes inside of him.
What a great empathic question. So let me ask you a few questions first. Is he there 1 week and then with you 1 week, or how does it work?
We currently have 2 days with me, 2 days with another parent, and then we go through 5 days rotating.
Meaning two, constantly?
2, 2, 5, then back 2, 2, 5.
And who is he in the 5?
1 weekend with me, 5 days with me, another 5 days with the other parent.
And in those 5 days, he doesn't see you?
He doesn't see me.
Yeah. So hard for you, right?
It's very difficult.
Yeah. I just want to say that this is just so incredibly hard as a mother to be away from her little boy for 5 days, 7 days at a time. And I just want to say I'm with you. I can understand the pain and the guilt and the fear. And it's just so much to deal with. Now, of course, we can get upset with the custody and the lawyers and the court and your ex. And I could spend 10 hours with you agreeing with you and even more angry than you about how unfair the system is. But what good is it going to do us, right? What good is it going to do us? Can we change the system? Can we change this custody arrangement? Let me ask you.
We can't.
We cannot.
We can only change what's in my power, which is my response.
Okay, very good. I'm so proud of you that you fully understand that. So I just want everyone listening to learn from you, because when we have situations like this, our instinct is to feel like we're victims, because in many ways you are a victim. but to be bathed in that victimization, or we feel such anger towards the other person, the perpetrator, that we get so consumed by bitterness and anger and it eats us up, or we get angry with the court system. So all of that is valid, though, I will tell you. But we have to harness that anger into something constructive. So either we work to change the legislation or we change, policies. But at the end of the day, like you said, the only place you have real power is in your response, in your energy. And so the first thing I'll say to you is congratulations for arriving at this wisdom, even though I know it's so difficult. Number two, you have to take care of yourself a lot and make sure you are really nurturing your own empty, broken heart. And the third thing I would say to you is, now that we know that he's going to come back with this energy like a wildcat, and he is hurt. In his mind, you did betray him. In his mind, you did lie to him. In his mind, you did abandon him. So now that we know this is the issue, we have to be ready for this energy when he comes home. So you have to almost create this internal space within yourself. Like you have to create a cathedral of calm inside yourself, this stillness, this space that allows him to come back and vomit and punch and kick and scream. And you have to regulate him. Your goal is only to co-regulate, to re-regulate him back to normal, and then he goes again. So your goal is nothing else now. Your goal is trauma management, crisis management, emotional regulation. Forget academics, forget rules, forget anything. Right now, your goal is only to take him from that wild state into calm, and then he goes away. Then again, wild to calm, and then he goes away. This is your only sacred job right now. I know it feels like, on one hand, impossible, but on one hand, you're like, is that all I need to do? If I tell you that's all you need to do, then at least it'll make you feel like focused, attentive, attuned, and powerful, that, okay, I can do this. I need to make sure that my child goes from wild wolf, who's just kicking and screaming, into calm teddy bear. I have to do this every day. And that is the greatest gift I think you can give your child. Because that's what he's saying. I need mommy. I am traumatized. I want to kick you. I want to fight you. He's going into fight and flight because his nervous system is so dysregulated. And he needs mommy to bring him back. And yes, he is going to be angry with you. And unfortunately, you're the only safe one he can act out with. He probably does not act out with the father. He probably suppresses in the other house. So you have to be the compensation when he comes back.
Thank you. Thank you for that information. It really definitely resonates with me. And I have been tremendously working on myself to ensure that I do provide the safety net for him and stability and calmness, and really be open to nurture despite all of the things that I have gone through, right? As I regulate him, right, and he's back to after a few days and feeling trusting and feeling comfortable, how can I better manage trying to explain him the way he treats me, right? The way he goes into power struggle with me, the way he doesn't like to have any rules because of the difference in the two households. How should I go around it? Should I have, with calmness, with loving and compassion, redirect him? This is not the way you speak. This is not the way you should be communicating, even though knowing that he is internally, it is a lot for him.
I think that using logic at this age and a lot of language and lectures is useless. I think in the moment, we need to understand that he is a volcano that is erupting, and he needs to erupt all that toxic energy out. So because he's a volcano with all this negative toxic energy, it is actually good that he is erupting. Now you are taking it personally and feeling like he's disrespecting you. I'm not saying it's not disrespectful, but he's not disrespecting you. He is feeling disrespected. He is feeling violated. He is feeling toxified. So he is erupting with this. So in the first few days, there is nothing to correct because he needs to just get it all out. And then gently you can redirect him. But telling him, you talk to mommy so badly and you're so bad is absolutely not true because he's not meaning to talk badly to you. He's just coming back to you with all this toxic lava and he doesn't know what to do with it. So it's a good thing for him to yell at you, scream at you, get it out. But yes, it feels like he's doing it to you personally. And then you have thoughts that, oh my God, I'm raising a lunatic, or I'm raising a disrespectful child, or he's going to be a horrible criminal. You begin to get scared. I understand. But by regulating him and loving him and understanding him and then redirecting him, you will begin to change his behavior slowly. But shaming him or making him feel bad about it is going to only be counterproductive.
Absolutely. I do have more of a nurturing approach, and I do understand sometimes we're all not perfect. So we as mothers feel the guilt of, am I doing enough? Is this enough? Or you always have in the back of your head whether or not what you're doing is actually working, right? As a mother with a long journey to go to, because he's only 5, will there be a point where I have to try to, without shaming another parent, without using, your father did this, that, or this, right? But trying to say of, hey, I'm sorry, this is what you hear, but that is not true. We don't need to define the truth right now, but I want you to know that you loud on both ends, no matter what. But do you think there's age specific that I should be holding this information till? Because again, I have a long journey.
I think that you can try to begin to say it even now, but gently and slowly. And I say that also in these situations, we should go to a therapist or to a coach or have somebody help you in these situations where he has his own time with the therapist to express himself. And the therapist can begin to talk to him. And I would say that starting at 6 or 7 is not too early. And you need all the support you can because you're dealing with a very difficult situation. And your life situation is not going to be like other life situations. So don't compare your child to other children. He has a very difficult life already. But we have to accept it and do the best we can with it. And we can't keep feeling guilty about it. You're doing the best you can. And he's so lucky to have you. Otherwise, where would he be? So yes, I know you feel guilty. I know you feel like if you had not chosen this ex, he would have not. But then your son wouldn't have been here. So we have to embrace it. We have to accept it. And we have to be so amazing that by the time your child is 10 years old, your child is going to see the difference between your home and that home. So really turn on your light and really be empowering for your child. And in those 5 days that you're with your child, really show up beautifully for him. I can guarantee you within the next 5-6 years, your son will begin to see the difference between his father and his mother.
Yes. As a mother, can I do anything to point out a healthy masculine and a healthy feminine in the process of, raising him if he's not receiving a good message for what that healthy masculine is from his father?
Yes, always. You have to, show him good role models, either through a brother or through an uncle or through the media, and talk about how men are beautiful and men can be strong and protective and kind. And of course, you have to do that anyway with your son, right? Just like we would do it with our daughter. So don't be afraid to do what you would do normally with your child just because of this situation. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep showing up with courage, and it will make a big difference to your child. Your warmth, your cheerfulness, your energy, your optimism is going to matter. So if you are in a bad mood, if you're in a sad mood, if you're crying and dull and scared, that is going to be disastrous for him. But if he comes to this house and you're cheerful and you're singing and you have music and you are playful and you're creative, you are going to make a difference. So you have to really turn up the wattage in your house. Music, laughter, play, creativity, people come over, food, warmth, hugs, kisses. You're going to outshine the other house. And it's not a competition, but it's going to happen.
Yes, absolutely. So actually, if I get a comment from him, Mom, why is you so happy? I'm actually doing something right.
Yes. And you need to say, because I'm a happy person and people should be happy and everyone is happy if you allow it, and, give that message.
Yes.
Because he will come like a flower to the sun toward you, toward your energy. You have to be an attractor. So don't try to compete with the other parent. Become an attractor where your child wants to be with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you. I appreciate your time. Thank you for your wisdom.
Every one of us parents faces unique challenges on our parenting journey. As we just saw with Alona, she is dealing with the incredible challenge of dealing with an ex and sharing co-parenting or parallel parenting responsibilities for a young child. And this inevitably brings up feelings of guilt or this sense that I'm not doing enough and I'm failing my child. And I'm just here to tell you, after decades of working with parents, that this feeling of, am I doing enough, is such a consistent theme, even if you have an intact family, even if you have the best situation and 10 nannies and, all the grandmothers at home. It never leaves us because it's something that we, especially as mothers, carry with us. But what we need to remember, as I said to Alona, that the main power we have as parents is not in our circumstances, is not in creating the perfect life situation for our children, but it is in how we show up. We are the life situation. We are the circumstance. So even if life is falling apart, your house is burnt down, there's an earthquake in your town, finances are depleted, your ex is being a total jerk, those are life situations. Those are circumstances. And yes, they suck, and yes, they're difficult, but the main power you have as a parent and the main privilege you have and the main, sense of agency you have is not in correcting the life situation or the circumstance beyond a point. It is in correcting how you show up. This is your greatest empowerment. So never forget that. Life will always throw a wild curve. People will always act in, less than amazing ways. Maybe your partner is acting completely unconsciously. Your mother-in-law is being completely rude and disrespectful. It doesn't matter after a point. Your child looks to you to show up in the best, most regulated way possible. That is where your power lies, so never forget it. And always remember that as long as you are showing up consciously, playfully, creatively, and joyfully, your child will exponentially benefit from that energy. So if you're learning a lot from my podcasts and if you're getting a lot of wisdom from these episodes, let me tell you about my conscious community, where you can learn even more about parenting and coping with difficult life situations. My conscious community is called the Conscious Circle. It is a community of like-minded and like-hearted individuals just like you. In fact, so many in my community are listeners of this podcast. So if you find value in this podcast, explore my community. For less than $25 a month, you will get my workshops, my webinars, my teachings, and my guidance on a constant basis. Every month, I do something new, and every day, I give you advice and guidance. I have groups for kids under 5 years old, groups for teenagers, groups for single parents, groups for women going through menopause, groups for parents who are going through transitions in their marriage. There is something for everyone. So if you are someone who wants to grow and expand more, explore my conscious community. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I will see you on the next episode of Parenting and You with me, Dr. Shefali. Parenting and You with Dr. Shefali is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional medical, psychological, psychotherapeutic, coaching, healthcare, or other qualified professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment.